What is up, everybody? Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. It is Monday, February 3rd, and we are here to talk about Raw is glitch, Netflix is glitch. I don't really know what to talk about, but we got Santi Zap in here. Santi, welcome to the show. Nice to see you, man.
Hello, hello. How's your Royal Rumble hangover?
Dude, I had all of Sunday to kind of calm down and relax a little bit. So I was feeling good all through Sunday. I just like chilled in my couch. I did a couple of videos, nothing too crazy, and then watched the Grammys. So I felt really good. I really, really did. Like overall, it was just a nice Sunday just to relax and readjust myself for the actual week. But I kind of hate weeks like this though, because I really do get backed up like on everything else. So I feel like I'm like a little hamster wheel where nothing is ever actually being done. I just keep running and running on this hamster wheel.
It's gonna feel like that for like the next several months too, with WrestleMania, like in the world of content creation, and with you probably flying all over the place for wrestling related things. Oof, good luck.
Well, I'm gonna be in your neck of the woods for Elimination Chamber. I still
Yes,
haven't planned
true.
my trip, but I will see you there.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into Monday Night Raw, everybody, because I thought, aside from all of the Netflix tech issues and all of that, I really did think this was a fun show for Raw, primarily because it flew by. Santi, did you feel the same way?
I felt the same way about every episode of Raw so far. Out of the ones that have been like 2 hours and 30 minutes, it's like it's the sweet spot. I look at the clock, I'm like, oh, we're well past 2 hours at this point. What a pleasant surprise. Meanwhile, I'll look at the clock when SmackDown is on, and I'm like, oh, we got to be on like going towards hour 3 here, right? And it's like 15 minutes have gone by. Somehow,
Yeah.
SmackDown drags its ass, and Rob, you blink and it's at the very end. It's just such a good and such a well-paced show as well.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. That's literally how I feel. If I look at the clock and a lot of time has gone by, it's really just them saying like, okay, this was a good show because you didn't even bother to look at the clock. But nah, don't even remind me about SmackDown being 3 hours because that shit stresses me out still to this day. But let's go ahead and dive right in because there's quite a bit that we got to get into. Of course, this show is the first Raw after the Royal Rumble, which was just absolutely it was a very very fun show with a lot of surprises. Of course, everybody was talking about that shock of an ending. Santi, of course, I gotta get your thoughts on that, man. Your moment when you realized that your boy John Cena was eliminated. What did you feel in your heart and soul?
The thing is I went in with the concrete realization that Cena wasn't winning this. I didn't You thought he was going to. You were pretty
I
dead
did,
set
yes,
on it. That was your
I
pick.
did.
I never bought into it. I'm like, his story is going to be to lose, and they're going to build on that. But then he got to the final two, and I was like, oh my God, he's gonna win. And then I bought it because I was like, I'm not gonna break my own heart by believing that Cena's gonna win. And then, God damn it, I bought in. I bought in just to have my heart broken. This is why I didn't want to buy in, because now I'm a sad 32-year-old man crying about a man with a really bright blue shirt not being able to main event WrestleMania, Denise.
Dude, I think for me, it wasn't even that I was like, oh, John Cena absolutely has to win this. It's just I thought, okay, if it's not John Cena, it's gonna be CM Punk. And I felt silly. I felt silly that I didn't see Jey Uso's victory coming. And for me, I know this one has had people torn, right? There's people that are like, why the F did Jey Uso win? And then there's people that are like, I'm so happy Jey Uso won. I think for me, I wasn't like upset that he won. I just didn't think he was going to win because he had those opportunities to win the World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, we just watched him and Gunther at Saturday night's main event. So I think I was thinking more along the lines of somebody who hadn't had a chance at getting their hands on the gold to actually go and win. And so that's what I was thinking. But even though when John Cena lost, part of me, it was mixed emotions because I thought, holy shit, what did I just see? But at the same time, I kind of loved that I did not see that ending coming. I loved that I really, really thought John Cena was winning this, and then he didn't. And Jey Uso, that gets us into today's start of Raw. Jey Uso today going out there and cut this promo that I shouldn't even call a promo because he literally just went out there and spoke to the people and like had a teary moment, got very emotional talking about how this happened, this moment finally happened for him, and the crowd is giving him this massive standing ovation. Santi, I can't be a hater and be like, oh, I didn't want Jey Uso to win the Rumble. I can't be that way when this is his reaction and this is how important, you can tell how important and how much this means to him.
For sure. There's no denying that this means a lot to him, and there's no denying that he's put in the blood, sweat, and tears into the WWE and into the world of professional wrestling. So anyone can relate to this, right? Somebody that spent so long trying to climb the mountain, somebody that was seen as not somebody that could climb that mountain, finally getting that moment. It's an easily relatable moment. I still understand why people don't like Jey Uso winning. And I also understand why people love Jey Uso winning. I'm literally Humpty Dumpty. I'm on the fence. I'm sitting here. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I just need to see what the narrative is with Jey Uso. And if it's bad, then I'll be out there with the pitchforks too. If it's great, then fantastic. But I really am a blank canvas when it comes to Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. I just need to be sold on it. And it did help seeing that sad, happy, visceral reaction, that human reaction from Jey Uso. That's what I wanted to see. And I'm so glad that we didn't get just him yeeting every other word. You know what's funny? Last week, you and I roasted Jey Uso's 7-minute entrance with Quavo. And we felt like this is stupid. This is out of place. What are they doing? This should have been that entrance. That celebratory entrance should have just happened here. But listen, I also get your why you're trepidatious about Jey Uso with regards to, like, you've just seen him recently. I feel like we just need to treat Saturday night's main event like it's not real canon. Because Saturday night's main event, if you think about it, all of its biggest moments were buried in the Royal Rumble. Jey Uso just going back into the Rumble and winning, and it kind of like made everything that happened at Saturday night's main event like just like not matter. Braun Strowman coming back after being murdered and eliminating Jacob Fatu. That was the biggest moment of Saturday night's main event. And it was like, it never happened. So I feel like the best way to get on board with Gunther versus Jey is to pretend like Gunther versus Jey didn't happen at Saturday night's main event, because it feels like WWE is pretending like it didn't happen either.
So, okay, I guess that is probably the best way to go about it, because here's the thing. I feel like there's not excitement in the air when you say Jey Uso versus Gunther at WrestleMania. It doesn't hit the same if you were to say Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk, which is what you and I spent a whole lot of time talking about last week. Like, that has a different kind of like, ooh, let me sit up and get excited about this, versus if you're talking about Gunther and Jey Uso, you're like, you know what, I'm going to lay back just a little bit and not get, super excited about this. And here's the thing, like, now what they have to do from here on out is get us excited about this. Now, clearly my predictions have been off, but I still don't think that we're going to see Jey Uso versus Cody. Like, that's not what I'm expecting. I think everyone here is expecting for him to obviously go against Gunther. And today, seeing him in this promo with Gunther, I do think they did two good things, because they need to get us excited about this match. If this is your WrestleMania main event for a night one, I presume, you got to get excited about that. I thought they did a really good job with one, Jey Uso, like you said, doing this very, very emotional, raw promo, getting teary-eyed. Of course, we're going to connect with that, all of that, right? But two, Gunther has been really, really punching down at Jey Uso, making him feel like shit, right? Like, all of these really mean things that he has been saying about how he's not on his level. He said that this does nothing for him and his legacy. He's like, it would be so much better if I was facing someone like John Cena or whoever else that he names. And he said, like, not you. And he keeps punching him down. I do want to see Jey Uso finally get to the point where, you know what? I'm tired of you talking your shit. I am going to prove you wrong. And I think that's what I wanted to see here tonight. I didn't want Jey Uso to say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to SmackDown and talk to Cody Rhodes." I didn't want that. I wanted him to come out and flat out say, "You know what, Gunther? I'm tired of your shit. I'm tired of how you, all of the things that you have said to me. I'm a former Intercontinental Championship. I have, my family has a great legacy. I won the Royal Rumble. I outlasted 29 other men. I eliminated John Cena, and now I'm coming for your championship, and I'm gonna prove you wrong." I feel he should have just went out there and just said who he was coming for instantly, instead of basically trying to stall. I feel like they could have cut out the whole stalling portion for the next few weeks.
Yeah, I'm very curious what Gunther means with regards to "I'm going to make your life a living hell if you pick me" from now until WrestleMania, because Gunther is pretty dead set on not facing Jey Uso, not because he's scared of him, just because he sees him as lesser than, which I guess I don't really know how to feel about that being the plot, like the Royal Rumble winner being seen as like beneath, as like subhuman garbage by the champion. I don't know if I can get on board with that, but it does work to Gunther's character, and that is kind of how he lost to Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. We also have to wait and see. Maybe the CM Punk favor comes into play. Maybe it becomes a triple threat. I just feel like it needs something to spice it up. And I wouldn't be feeling that way if we didn't get Jey Uso versus Gunther at Saturday night's main event already. It just feels like it just happened too soon, or not that long ago. And it wasn't that good. It was good, but it wasn't like, "Oh yeah, we need to run this again at WrestleMania, please." It wasn't to that level. So there is a lot. I feel like there is an uphill battle for the WWE to get people excited for Jey Uso versus Gunther. There's an uphill battle as well to get people, the Jey Uso haters, to get on the bandwagon. But then again, Denise, you and I, we're online gremlins. We see the Jey Uso hate, but if you saw that arena, there didn't seem to be any. So it could also be a world where we are a vocal minority that means absolutely jack diddly shit, Denise. And at the end of the day, it is about crowd reactions. It is about merch sales. And Jey Uso truly is over in the eyes that matter. That just might be the
Yeah.
case.
That is true. I feel like sometimes you do see more of that negativity online, and then on the show, everyone's like,
Everyone.
yeet, everyone's vibing.
Everyone.
It looks like a concert. You would never know that this guy was, that people were legitimately upset that he won the Royal Rumble. Let's get into some of these super chats. We got John Taylor here who says, "Glitchity glitch 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 on a sandwich, then eating a Twix while Denise gets rich while waiting for Santi to get his ass off of Twitch."
Nice.
All right,
Nice.
John, you win for that one.
Hey, in my defense, when Denise was trying to recruit me into this cult, I told her about the Twitch, that I was like, "I'm going to be late literally every night." I told her.
Yeah, I was telling everybody about that right before. I was like, "Guys, don't worry, Santi. Like, we knew this was gonna happen. Like, it's okay. I'm gonna stall for time. It'll be fine." We got Gurjeet Pabla here who says Santi pulled a Santino Morella.
Wait, in what way? What did I do?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. Maybe you just came in like Santino Morella. I don't know.
Okay.
It could have been
Denise
worse. You could have came in
Salcedo.
as like Santina. You could have came in as Santina. That would have been interesting.
Maybe, maybe.
We got Soundwaves 80s here who says, "Has Alexa Bliss showed up in her hometown? I might have missed something while I was away for a moment." No, Alexa Bliss wasn't on today's show. No, she didn't appear on today's show. No, she wasn't on. Unfortunately, I did
I
want to
think
see
that was
her.
from when you were streaming.
What do you mean?
Well, I think the message, like, has Alexa showed, it just seemed like this came during Raw.
No, this came. At least I don't think so. No, this came afterwards. This
Okay.
came
All right.
afterwards. Yeah. Heidi Ho says, "On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a baby face is Tiffany going to be when she has a face off with Charlotte? Like 1,000?
Yeah.
1,000. Let's get into that right now since Heidi Ho brought up the topic. We had Charlotte Flair go out there, and it's interesting because, of course, Charlotte Flair just came back. She was gone for over a year, torn ACL. I think she had also said torn meniscus. I mean, like her whole knee was completely busted, guys. And of course, she rehabbed, she came back, she wins the Royal Rumble, and Charlotte Flair gets so much hate. She gets a lot of hate, and she's technically right now not a heel or a babyface, and she just came back. But she went out there and she was trying to cut this promo, Santi, where she's talking about this real life situation where she's like, I fucked up my knee, and I missed all of you guys. Like, this is the longest I've ever been gone from pro wrestling. I never thought that, I would come back and, still be the Charlotte Flair, blah, blah, blah. She's getting into this really, really deep promo. And the crowd is booing her. They're not having it. There were some cheers, but they were completely drawn out by the boos. And so it was like this weird, almost play fighting between Charlotte and the crowd, where she wanted to be embraced from the crowd, is what I gathered, but they just weren't embracing her. So before we get to the Rhea part of it, what did you think of this part with
Mhm.
Charlotte trying to win over the crowd?
Mhm. This will go over your head because I made this reference before, but people in your chat will know what I'm talking about. This was the crowd telling Charlotte, "Oh no, did somebody get addicted to crack from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?" They weren't having her sob story. They didn't care. They were not having it. They were not interested. They weren't hearing it. And I kind of love the fact that Charlotte was playing into it. I felt like that was brilliantly executed. The way she kept trying to tell people about this story that clearly no one cared about, while also embracing the booze, acknowledging the booze. I felt like it was this like character that was trying to toe the line, but was so obnoxious with how she was towing the line that I have no other, I guess, course of action but to say that that's a heel. That's just a heel pretending to be a babyface, in my opinion. That's what I'm seeing. And we've seen that before, being a little bit more overtly out in the open. But I do believe that Charlotte Flair has to be heel in this situation, regardless of who she's going up against. I am concerned for Tiffany Stratton as a babyface. By the way, I will say that we've never seen it. In NXT, she was heel the entire time of her run. She's been heel here, kind of, even though she's now going up against heels and Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. But one of the things that I've always kind of had in the back of my head is like, I'd be concerned because she reminds me so much of The Miz with her character work, that she would be rejected as a babyface like The Miz was rejected as a babyface, because she's so good at playing this heel character that she plays, that I have a hard time envisioning what a babyface version of that looks like. It might still be the same character, but she just goes up against heels. That would be interesting. But in this situation, the crowd is going to be so on Tiffany Stratton's side. So on her side.
I remember thinking that Tiffany Stratton was going to turn babyface after the stuff with Nia Jax, because of the way that Nia Jax and Candice LeRae had been treating her. They made it seem like they were setting up Tiffany Stratton for her babyface turn. So she wins the title, right? And the first promo that she does back, I'm like, why am I getting heel Tiffany vibes? I thought she was going to be a babyface, and I found myself being confused there that we weren't seeing a babyface Tiffany Stratton. And I think, yeah, you're right. This is going to be a situation where I do think that the crowd will buy into Tiffany Stratton being a babyface with Charlotte. And the only reason I say that is I just go back to the Elimination Chamber and the way that people were reacting to Tiffany, the way that they were reacting to her then, the way that they were reacting to her when she won the Money in the Bank briefcase. I'm sorry, when she cashed it in. I feel like the crowd does want to cheer for Tiffany as a baby face. I do think that they are curious about what that would look like, because even it, to me, it felt like they left that taste in my mouth. Like, oh my God, like I kind of want to go a little further and see, hey, what does a baby face Tiffany Stratton look like? A full on, let's not tease it. Let's not just do it sporadically. No, let's really give into this. So I don't think that she would be doomed as a baby face. I think if anything, the crowd would definitely embrace it. But yeah, Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte is gonna. I think there's gonna be a lot of spotlight on this, not just because it's the comparisons between Tiffany and Charlotte, but are we going to see the same thing play out that we saw between Charlotte and Rhea when Charlotte first went up against Rhea, when Rhea was just starting out at WrestleMania 36, when she was the champion and took the title off of Rhea? That was the moment that I think a lot of people were like, damn, man, like, why'd you do that to Rhea? People were not happy about that. I don't want to see that happen to Tiffany Stratton. I don't think it will. I think WWE is a little bit more aware of what that would do?
Oh,
Maybe?
Denise. Oh,
Come on,
Denise.
Santi, come on. Am I
Denise.
crazy?
Death, taxes, and Charlotte Flair winning championship gold. You've heard me say this before. I
I
said it.
know,
I
but come
said it before the
on.
Rumble. I said it before the Rumble. Death, taxes, and Charlotte Flair winning everything when she comes back. People said, no, they're not going to do it. They're not going to give the Rumble to Charlotte. And here they are. If Charlotte goes up against Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania, it is a coin toss. It is not like, oh, of course Tiffany has to win. It's up in the air. Charlotte Flair could absolutely and very realistically win that, even though I would hate that. I would want Tiffy to continue her run. I don't think that they would bring Julia into this, but they talked about the possibility of her going to NXT. So are we expecting Charlotte on NXT tomorrow?
Yeah, she said, "Oh, I'm going to NXT." She said, "I'm
Yeah.
looking for to see who inspires me. Does Julia inspire me on NXT? Does Tiffany inspire me on SmackDown?" Right? So no, I am expecting to see her on NXT tomorrow, but I don't think it would be a good idea to see Charlotte defeat Tiffany Stratton. It just would not. It would pump the brakes on Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah.
It would really make Charlotte Flair and I don't want to say like have she already has this heat on her that's not necessarily it's a mixture, right? It's a mixture of heel heat because Charlotte Flair is a great hero, but it's also a mixture of like, oh, she always wins everything and she doesn't put the other women over. That's what a lot of people say. That's why she gets so much of this backlash. And I feel bad because I'm like, come on, Charlotte, like prove the people wrong, prove the people wrong, like show them you are here to not only have the career that you are meant to have, but also, work and put over some of the other women too. Which, of course, her and her match with Rhea at WrestleMania 39 was stupendous. It was awesome. So glad that we got to see Rhea go out there. So let's get to that portion of it because Rhea, damn. I felt like we saw something from Rhea that we hadn't seen in a while, Santi. Like she's been
Agreed.
angry, she's been mad, sure, with Liv Morgan, but today she was pissed, she was angry, she was disrespected by Charlotte Flair. So she goes out there and confronts her and she says, "Look, Charlotte, I respect you, but I want you to pick me. I want you to pick me because I've already beat you at WrestleMania." And of course, Charlotte reminded her, "Yeah, you beat me, but I also beat you." So they're tied 1-1 with each of them at a WrestleMania victory. And Rhea, when Charlotte said she was going to go see about Julia, when she was going to go see about Tiffany Stratton, Rhea took that as a disrespect. And the way she fired back to Charlotte, oh, I was like, yes, this is the Rhea that we have not seen in a while. Serious, angry competitor. That is what I want to see. And this got me really excited, even though, of course, I'm not expecting them to run this match back. I did love the segment between them today.
I loved what we got out of Rhea specifically. And this further I believe the idea that Charlotte is a heel by calling Rhea Ripley a kid. Like this shows me, the fact that you decided to try and pull the trigger on this so quickly that, you're trying to get answers now that you are still that kid from all of those years ago. And that's kind of what triggered that Rhea Ripley that I feel just we haven't seen in a really, really long time. I feel like we got glimpses of her during like her angry portions at Dominic Mysterio in the early portions of the Dom, Liv, and Rhea Ripley love triangle, but then that like super vicious Rhea Ripley just kind of seemed to disappear. Even like the War Games Rhea Ripley just didn't have that like bite that she had at the start of that feud, and I feel like we got it here again. She's always had it. It's just sort of not been put to the forefront here over the last several months. And I'm glad that it's back. It does seem to me that all roads are eventually pointing to Iyo versus Rhea based on how things played out tonight.
Yeah, so we'll kind of merge that conversation into what we got here with the women's elimination chamber qualifier match, Liv Morgan versus Iyo Sky. Before this, we kind of had a moment where Iyo and Rhea were backstage, but Iyo gets attacked by Liv Morgan, and then Raquel ends up attacking Rhea, right? But during the actual qualifier match, we got a phenomenal matchup between Liv and
So
Iyo. They
good.
got so much time. They were working so smooth with each other. Both girls were working. They had their working shoes on. However, this ends in a DQ where Rhea Ripley accidentally So she basically goes down, she charges down, she attacks Raquel from behind, but then she hits Liv Morgan, and that is what ends up essentially, calling for the bell. And so she ruined Iyo Sky's opportunity because it ends in a DQ. So obviously, Iyo Sky is super pissed off at Rhea Ripley, which she rightfully should be. And Rhea is apologetic, but clearly, even though you're kind of upset for Iyo here too, this at least lends a little bit of a positive light where I think a lot of people are expecting to see Iyo versus Rhea. And this is now what, like the second, third tease that we've gotten, maybe the second between both of them.
Yeah. To me, like the teases are enough, and I feel like this is a misdirection. I still think that we're gonna get Iyo in the chamber. Funny enough, when those two were paired, I was like, man, what a bummer. Both of them should be in the chamber because the last two chamber matches, Liv Morgan has been an MVP. She's been pulling out some crazy moves in the Elimination Chamber. And I would have loved to see Iyo Sky as well because it's Iyo freaking Sky. But somebody in the chat did remind me they do routinely do the last chance triple threat or fatal four-way match to get the last opportunity. So I foresee that being the case here, especially with the way that she lost here being a disqualification. I do foresee that we're still going to get Iyo Sky in this Elimination Chamber match. I feel like it would be a huge miss to not have one of the most talented high flyers on the roster in a match that's really conducive of crazy moves like what Iyo Sky can bring. Denise, I'm just sold on Iyo versus Rhea at this point. If the idea is to do Charlotte versus Tiffany, if we're locked in on that, I'm locked in on Rhea versus Tiffany Stratton. I don't need Liv again. I love Liv, but I've already seen it. Been there, done that. Doesn't seem like Alexa Bliss will probably get put into that world title picture. I don't see it. We didn't see Jordynne Grace tonight. So it's still a very thin field in the women's division on Monday Night Raw. So Io's the play.
I think so too. I'm with you. I'm also locked in on Iyo and Rhea. That's been what they've teased. We know that Iyo can go. We know Rhea can go, and they'll have that kind of a match that we want to see. We got Blinking with Kimberly, who says, "For what he did for my son, I was overjoyed." Kimberly shared a story about how Jey Uso FaceTimed her son. So very, very nice guy, man. It's very hard to be a Jey Uso hater, in my opinion. Again, because he really is a nice guy. We got John Deller here who says, where do you feel Jordynne will end up? So, Santi, one of the things that I didn't like in the Rumble was Jordynne being eliminated by Julia, because then I'm like, shit, is she going to be on NXT? Because I thought, okay, we've been there, done that with Jordynne, and it was great, and I loved it. But she is main roster primed. She should be on Raw or SmackDown. I think we need her on Raw or SmackDown. But based off of that Royal Rumble elimination, it made me think, is Jordynne going to be an NXT person?
So I guess I'm going to turn this back on you. Do you still see NXT as not main roster now that they have Evolve? Because now it seems like NXT is now a proper third brand, with Charlotte even shouting them out and potentially going after Julia. I would still prefer that Jordynne Grace go to Raw, because I still have that vision that Raw, SmackDown are above NXT. And you're right, she's obviously main roster ready. But more than anything, Denise, it's not that I think, her in developmental in NXT, that's just not where she belongs. It's just they don't need her. Would they benefit from her? But yeah, sure. But have you seen the NXT roster? Good God, they do not need a Jordynne Grace. That would be a waste of riches. The war chest of NXT would be too much. Jordynne Grace should go to where she's needed more. And in my opinion, that's Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I second that. They don't need her on NXT. They've got plenty of mouths to feed down there. I do think that the main roster is where she should be for sure. Terrence Johnson says the Princess versus the Queen battle for the throne. Thank you, Terrence. We got Kid Cudi here who says, way to go ahead and pick Gunther when you can tell other stories, like if Cody starts to see Jey as a threat, he's already losing all his other friends. Y'all got to stop wanting 5-minute filet mignon. Yeah, it's just that I think Cody is prepped for some bigger things. I think those bigger things could be John Cena. It could be CM Punk. That's a little bit more, I would say, of a WrestleMania quality type of match. I just think that's the bigger deal for sure. I don't think it's Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes. So for sure, Gunther on that one. Thank you so much, Kid Cudi. We got Phil Amuet here who says WWE knows what they need to do. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens at Elimination Chamber. Gunther. Randy comes back, cost KO, and that's how we set up KO versus Randy at WrestleMania 41. Question is, what is Sami's path to WrestleMania, if any? I'm still a little confused on what exactly is going to go down with Sami Zayn. He's still sort of a question mark where we're still sort of expecting to maybe see him turn heel. Obviously, they've been really pushing this thing where we just saw it tonight, of course, CM Punk and Sami Zayn in the main event, where CM Punk telling them, like, dude, you're not on my level, and still treating him as such. And CM Punk did defeat him, and then he was attacked by KO afterwards, Sami. So it's like, oh shit. Now we're kind of going back to that. Is that the direction we're going in here now? Is this I don't know. I don't know if that's the direction we're heading into now. But were you surprised at all to see KO attack Sami Zayn after this match?
Yeah, I was. I wasn't expecting him, mostly because he was the one that took the nastiest hits and he didn't miss a day. Cody Rhodes is out. You know, they said he was not going to be here because of injury. So I presumed, you know, if Cody was out, that KO would be out,
I
considering
didn't even think about that. You're so right.
right. So like it never even crossed my mind that Kevin Owens was going to show up. To be fair, he showed up looking haggard. He looked awful. But it did completely it completely caught me off guard. It was cool. You know, you're asking about what Sami Zayn's path to WrestleMania at all. Denise, why are you in denial? You already know what it is.
No, it's not. Don't say it. Don't say it, Santi. No,
you know it's Karrion Kross.
No,
you know, that's what they're gonna do. Yeah, you know, you get ready to learn the lyrics to Karrion's theme, baby.
Why?
Hey, why'd they have Jey Uso win the Rumble? You know, we're still asking questions. They haven't been answered. We'll see. Maybe we'll just let Papa H cook, Denise. Just let Papa H cook.
This is the meal that I don't want. All right, take it out of the menu. I'm sorry, that does not scream WrestleMania to me. Does that honestly scream WrestleMania to you?
I mean, neither did the Profits or the Hurt Biz. What were they even called? The Pride versus Final Testament last year. That did scream Mania, and they got Bubba Ray Dudley and Snoop Dogg in there to make it good.
But that's the tag team stuff. This is Sami freaking Zayn, okay? This guy won tag team gold with his best friend in SoFi Stadium, WrestleMania 39, dream come true. And now you're telling me his big WrestleMania match is going to be against Karrion Kross, who is hardly ever on TV?
I know. I just wanted to say the annoying phrase of let Papa H cook because I despise that phrase so much. But it's the only thing that I see. It's the only thing that I see that makes any sense right now for Sami.
I'm rejecting it. Okay. I'm rejecting it. Okay. No, absolutely not. Oh, it's totally going to happen. It's totally going to happen. Oh, man. Steven Martrulli here. Thank you, Phil. Steven Martrulli says, I think we get CM Punk versus Cody Cena WrestleMania match. Look, I'm good with CM Punk Cody. I'm good with CM Punk John Cena. I would feel bad because, okay, if we do WrestleMania night 1, Gunther versus Jey Uso, right? WrestleMania night 2, got to have Cody in there. But then at the same time, where do you put Roman? And if it's not CM Punk, does CM Punk not get his WrestleMania main event again?
I don't know why you are so certain that Gunther Jey is main event material. Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre wasn't for the World Heavyweight Championship with two bigger names, arguably, in my opinion.
I hope you're right. Honestly, I hate to say it, but I do hope you're right.
Yeah, because like you're right. Roman is still in the picture, and it looks like they're doing Roman Seth. Let's say in a world, it's Roman Seth, no title. It's Punk and Cody for the title, and then it's Jey Gunther for the title. Jey Gunther ain't main eventing any of those nights. Not at all.
No, yeah, you're right on that. Yeah, I guess I'm just going with like, okay, you win the Royal Rumble, you go to the main event.
You think, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I would prefer the other option for sure, because how do you don't put Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns in the second to last match or anything like that on any night. You just don't do that. It would be weird. It would be so weird. But Steven, thank you so much for the super chat. We got Phil here who says, I don't even think it's a coin toss for Charlotte versus Tiffany. Charlotte wins at WrestleMania, holds it till SummerSlam, and a new champ is crowned at SummerSlam when Tiffany wins it back as a full-fledged babyface.
Yeah, he gets it. Death taxes Charlotte Flair. He gets it.
You should make a shirt, Santi. That should be your shirt. Death taxes Charlotte Flair wins everything. Oh man, Phil, thank you so much for the super chat. We got an incredibly super kind super chat, by the way, from Soundwave 80s. Thank you so much, man, for your generosity. This is very, very nice of you. Who says, I feel Charlotte shouldn't have won the Royal Rumble. I wanted Nia Jax to eliminate her to save us from the very predictable outcome. How can Triple H allow that to happen when Vince had done the same thing before? So again, look, I didn't hate Charlotte Flair winning the Royal Rumble only because I knew this would lead to Tiffany Stratton. So I was okay. I think at this point, like I saw the writing on the wall that Charlotte was going to win. I saw the writing on the wall when the reports came out that they were thinking about doing her match with Tiffany. I saw the writing on the wall when she came out at number 27. That told us everything. And then of course with her and Roxanne being the final two, at no point did anybody think Roxanne was going to eliminate Charlotte Flair. It was just a bunch of writings on the wall that Charlotte was definitely winning this. I actually did not like that Nia Jax spot, by the way, where she
Awful.
eliminated a bunch of those people.
Worst spot in
Right?
women's Rumble history.
I hated it.
Worst spot in women's Rumble history. I could write a thesis on how bad that spot was.
It was a lot. It was like, one, it wasn't executed well, but two, they took out a bunch of fun little stories that could have happened in the Rumble matchup itself. And it was just like, no, let's just get rid of all these people
100%.
all at once, right?
So,
it was very lazy, in my opinion.
So what's funny too, if you go back and rewatch it, it's very clear that Raquel Rodriguez falls by herself by accident, and then she takes up Bianca with her. And then the Nia Jax spots happens. But then if you look at the official results, they still counted those eliminations for Nia Jax. Like it was just like, that was just supposed to be one big thing for Nia Jax. But you're right. It completely eliminated the idea of any little micro feud starting from there, because we see that with the men's, like for example, Penta with the quick elimination on Ludwig Kaiser, boom, Ludwig Kaiser Penta building into something. But we were robbed of all of that. We got some of those moments, like, for example, Roxanne eliminating Julia, right? That's leading into NXT Vengeance Day there, but they completely robbed us of the ability to get feuds, micro feuds, WrestleMania feuds with names that are going to be in Mania, like Iyo, like Bianca, like Naomi, were all part of that spot. Trish Stratus was part of that spot. It was nuts.
It was just, yeah, it wasn't good. And I get what they were trying to do, right? They were trying to do the reverse of always having the roster take out the big person out. But I'm like, nah, that should not have trumped.
That did not land.
It did not. It really did not. I think they should have just stuck to, no need to reinvent the wheel on this one. Stuck to what you know, and they should have just eliminated Nia. She could have had that spot. Cool, move on about our day. But thank you so much, Soundwave 80s, for that generous super chat. We got John Taylor here who says Sami versus Karrion Kross is a huge no thanks. Give me Gunther versus Karrion Kross casket match main event. Karrion, let's effing go. Rip Denise's soul. Reading this, I'm like, why do you want to see John Taylor? Why do you want to see Gunther versus Karrion Kross? Then you had a casket match, and I was like, all right, I'm kind of a geek for stuff like that, so I will take the casket match. But I thought you were gonna say take the casket. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm out on this one. Yeah, I just got to be won over, and I haven't been won over yet. So whatever. All right, John, thank you so much for the super chat, man. All right. With that being said, I want to get into Seth Rollins because I'm gonna have to start with this statement. I did not like the Seth Rollins promo here tonight. I thought they made Seth Rollins kind of look a little bit silly because Seth comes out and he's laughing about how CM Punk lost the Royal Rumble. He didn't win. He got eliminated. Ha ha ha. He's not going to get his WrestleMania main event. And Logan Paul eliminates him, right? But then I'm like, yeah, Logan Paul eliminated CM Punk, which was very shocking. But prior to that, CM Punk had eliminated you. What now? You also didn't win the Rumble. You were eliminated by the guy you're making fun of for being eliminated. And then he went on to say, but there are multiple ways to win to the Royal, there are multiple ways to still make it to the main event. So I'm like, okay, so you're pointing out all of these things about CM Punk when in reality, you are in the exact same boat right now as CM Punk. As it stands, they both did not win the Rumble. They were both eliminated. They both do not have a WrestleMania main event, but at least now CM Punk has a spot in the Elimination Chamber. But the point being that I felt they made Seth Rollins, he was talking in circles here and it wasn't connecting. It just wasn't. This was not for me. This was not for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I didn't mind it as much as you. I think for me, the only issue with the promo was that it was pretty directionless when you really go back and analyze it. Like, what did we get out of that promo? Like, we didn't really get any build up towards anything because I still think they're keeping their cards close to their chest. They don't want us to know what the Seth Rollins match is at WrestleMania. That's why he smack talked CM Punk and Roman Reigns, talking about like, I injured Roman Reigns. He's going to be out for a long time. He might even miss WrestleMania. He'll never tell you how injured he is. Neither will Paul Heyman. Neither will WWE. But he's out because of me. But then he also badmouth CM Punk. I feel like they're just trying to keep you guessing where the WrestleMania picture is going to take Seth Rollins. Is it going to be against CM Punk? Because we had another one of those moments when when CM Punk was making his entrance where they were about to brawl again. And then, of course, there's the Shield match that everyone wants to see at WrestleMania, Roman versus Seth. There's just things that are up in the... I don't want to see a triple threat match, by the way. I don't want to see a triple threat match when there's nothing on the line, when there isn't the title. I get all three guys wanting to, like, hating each other and whatnot, but like, make it for a title if that's the case. Because if it's for no title, I don't want you to burn three giant names on one match like that. Anyways,
Yeah,
I digress.
I feel the same way though.
Yeah, the promo just didn't do anything for me. It didn't do anything for storytelling. It's just like, hey, I might be going for A, I might be going for B. And then the weird kind of like hype up of Sami Zayn was also kind of meh, hyping him up before the Punk match.
But and if anything, that was probably the best part because you knew that Seth Rollins was only hyping him up because he just wants to hurt CM Punk. Like, he was not hyping him up because he believes in Sami Zayn. He was hyping him up because he hates CM Punk more. And that was about it. But I mean, I was just not a fan of this at all. I didn't think this was any good. So I was out on this one. But here's the thing: before we talking about jump into some other topics, I do want to get into something that wasn't on Raw, but was a pretty big story coming out of WrestleMania. Royal Rumble. And that is Drew McIntyre. He's somebody that played a big role in WWE programming last year, a 10-month-long storytelling that he did with CM Punk, 3 matches, the full trilogy, you name it, WWE Match of the Year, him and Punk and Bad Blood Hell in the Cell, all of it. And it was reported that he stormed out, was cursing, left. He was pissed about another wrestler that is still not known. Of course, there's theories as to who it may be, but a wrestler basically going into business for himself in the Royal Rumble. And basically, like, it seems like Drew McIntyre's either spot was the big spot before the elimination was missed, or I'm not really sure what went wrong there, but it really feels like Drew McIntyre's position has been reduced based on the storytelling that we've been seeing. Like, we're sitting here going, well, what's next for Drew McIntyre? What does Drew McIntyre's WrestleMania match look like? We can't really say too much. Of course, he had the elimination that he was eliminated by Damian Priest, but Santi, what did you think when you saw the elimination and then when you heard the report that he had walked out?
I felt that brawl between Punk, Roman, and Seth, it felt like he belonged in there. Like, based on like all of the stories that were being told and everything coalescing into the Royal Rumble, especially off the back of what happened there on the Go Home episode between Drew McIntyre and Paul Heyman, it just sort of felt like that's where he fit, because that's the caliber of superstar that he is now, right? After the amazing 2024 that he had, like, those are the names. Like, Drew McIntyre is in the same breath of air as Roman, as Seth, as CM Punk now when it comes to the people that fans want to see. And it just sort of felt like his elimination was just so random, so abrupt, so out of nowhere. I don't know what superstar it was that was trying to put themselves over, but even the commentary kind of missed Drew McIntyre's elimination. It was very, like, go back and watch it. Like, we have Wade Barrett, when Drew McIntyre gets eliminated, is still saying LA Knight's catchphrase. Like, there's just no cohesion. It's like the spot was ill-timed. They just felt so weird and so off. I have seen, reports of who Drew McIntyre might be facing at WrestleMania. I feel like it would be a letdown, honestly, if that's the route that they go with. Because again, I see him in the same realm as the Romans of the world. So to not see him in that same ecosystem after the 2024 that he had, it feels off.
I agree, man. I think that Drew McIntyre has done the work. He has truly, like, when he signed his brand new contract with WWE, it felt like all of the stars were aligning for him. He had the best promos on the show. He had one of the best stories. And mind you, his opponent was practically out almost nearly every other week or more than consecutive weeks gone, CM Punk, because of the injury. Yet Drew McIntyre kept the fire burning. And the work that he did on social media, just the way that he got over, the intrigue that he built up for the fans. I i am afraid that Drew McIntyre is not getting the respect that he deserves. And of course, we can't, that's just an assumption on my part based off of what we're seeing right now. But I do agree with you that Drew should be mentioned in the same breath that you mentioned Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, because he did the work to get there and has legitimately won the fans over in a whole new way. He had already had the fans on his side. People have liked Drew McIntyre for a long time, but with the character shift, it took on a life of its own. It really, really did. So I do hope we get to figure that all out pretty soon for him. But we got JM Melagrito here, who says Seth Rollins looking like a bone bone thugs video. You know what I thought? I actually kind of felt that he looked like a gothic cowboy. That's what I was kind of getting the vibe.
Ooh, yeah. People said this is the real bisexual Undertaker because yeah, the
Oh,
Taker had everything.
yeah, literally. We got Hocus Pocus. Thank you, JM. We got Hocus Pocus here, who says Seth versus Cody payback for helping Cody winning the title and hurting his leg. CM Punk versus Cena, built-in chamber, and Roman versus Fatu, Gunther versus Jey. The only reason I don't think they're doing Roman versus Fatu yet. I agree with Santi. It does look like it's going to be Seth Rollins. Cena and Punk, I don't think they could do that if they wanted to, for sure. And of course, we know their history, and that would be phenomenal. But I don't think they need to run it back at WrestleMania, though. That's the only thing. If they put this on another show, great. But I don't think it has to be WrestleMania for that one. I don't think Seth versus Cody, to me, is not as interesting. I much rather see Cody in there with either Punk or Cena. Thank you so much, Hocus Pocus. Appreciate you. Alrighty, and let me go ahead and get into some of the other topics that we haven't touched on just yet. Oh, this is a good one. So I know obviously we had Penta, the Ludwig Kaiser Royal Rumble bit, but remember we were talking about these commercials that we're seeing on the Netflix feed, and we're like, do these matter? Should we care about these? And we really weren't sure. We kind of got we got our confirmation that we should, because if you recall, Ludwig Kaiser had mentioned and brought up Penta's name in a promo a couple weeks ago. Then the Royal Rumble thing happened, and then this match finally happens here on Raw. So now we got confirmation that these things actually do matter.
Eventually, yeah, you're right. I didn't even connect those dots. At first, I thought you were talking about the promo between Kaiser and Pete Dunne, but I was like, I thought that was on live TV. I didn't think it was on commercial. But yeah, I know the promo you're talking about with Jackie Redmond.
Yes, that one from like a few weeks back already. Maybe it was the second week of Raw, somewhere around there. But no, I love what they did here with this match. I mean, it was just pretty much Penta and Ludwig Kaiser just going about it. Were you a fan of the match? Have you been a fan of what they've been doing with Penta so far?
Huge fan of what they've been doing with Penta. I would say that this was maybe the weakest of the Penta matches that he's had, but it still wasn't bad. I was still like entertained by it. And I liked what they ended up doing. Penta getting his win, still going on this undefeated streak on Monday Night Raw. But then Ludwig Kaiser got his back by attacking Penta in the post match. So also, Denise, maybe rejoice. Maybe they're actually going to do something with Pete Dunne. How long have we been talking about like, oh my God, get over this stupid, why they called me Butch gimmick? Maybe we're seeing something of substance here down the line for Pete Dunne. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I hope so too, because we did see Pete Dunne go out there and kind of have this before he could really do anything. Ludwig Kaiser got his heat back and attacked Penta right afterwards. So yeah. But another match that we had was New Day versus LWO. To be honest, like I didn't really get too much out of this. Like this was a fine match, but I didn't think there was anything too. I mean, Logan Paul was out there. We are going to see Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio in a qualifiers match for the Elimination Chamber next week. So that kind of felt like it carried a little bit more of the attention than the actual matchup. But I don't know. Did this match do anything for you?
The match, less so than the actual like Logan Paul stuff. The Logan Paul stuff, I was like, okay, I'm intrigued, but even then it was like to build up hype for an elimination match as opposed to building hype for the elimination chamber, which I think is cool, to build storylines around qualifying matches. That's pretty cool. But there's not really too much here either. New Day got a new theme. That's about it. Dragon Lee looked great. It seems like the LWO is dead. They did not come out to LWO, by the way. They came out to Rey Mysterio's theme.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even put that together.
Yeah, so and with Zelina now being on SmackDown, they didn't come out with Cruz del Toro or Joaquin Wilde. I think LWO might finally be dead.
Are we happy about this? Is this did we
I'm
want
about to
this?
throw I'm about to throw a postmortem party. This thing that did nothing for no one.
I mean, for a while, it felt like LWO was really hot. But they kind of built them up a lot for Backlash Puerto Rico,
They
and
were
then after
hot for
that,
Backlash Puerto Rico. That's it. That's what they were hot
yeah,
for.
literally after that, it kind of just like faded out, and that's it. Like they didn't even put any emphasis into it whatsoever. But ladies and gents, that was WWE Raw here today. Dang. So happy again to be doing the show with you, Santi. A lot of fun to get out here and talk about, Monday Night Raw, especially coming after the Royal Rumble. And we're officially on the road to WrestleMania. So these next couple of weeks are going to be really fun. And I can't wait to see you two at the Toronto Elimination Chamber show. That's going to be very, very fun. I can't wait for that. But before we wrap things up, Santi, of course, please let the people know where they can follow you, support you, and check out all your work.
On all things Santi's app, pick your platform, pick your poison. Look me up there. I'm most likely there posting wrestling content.
Hell yeah. We got Kid Cudi here who says, well, if y'all won't praise it, then I will. Shout out to the new day and the new look. Great match from all the performers. Thank you so much.
I
Kid
appreciate
Cudi.
that. Somebody giving it some love.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much, man. Alrighty, everyone. Of course, follow Santi. All of the links are in the description box below. If you're here, please do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. I'm 1,100 and something away from hitting 200K. I'm almost there. It's getting ridiculously slow, but I'm almost there. So make sure to click that subscribe button. Check out all of the Royal Rumble content that I posted up. Pressers, interviews, Royal Rumble Superstore tour video, review, you name it. It's up here on the channel. So give it some love. Thank you guys so much. And we'll catch you guys back here on the next Monday night review here with Santi and I. Bye, everyone.